Well, I finally got all my radar and where a lot of us were going and jumping right on those divine cubes. And believe me, I thought about it, but with my oopsie I made the other day there, I've already got a good amount of this where I don't need it to continue to upgrade my gear. Still could go and use those psionic theirs and reroll the stats on those, but I'm just going to give that a little bit just to kind of let things settle in. But with having 36,000 of this radar, I actually decided to go for this CAPYTTI VEYRON and just see how well this was going to be. And I think they really missed the opportunity here of making it a CAPYTTI VEYRON, but that's just me personally. Seems like that would roll off the tongue a little bit better, but at any rate, we're stuck with this CAPYTTI. And just a heads up too, it looks like this whole martial arts thing is going to be showing up every 2 weeks. Originally, it was looking like the text in it was saying that was going to be a week, but after the countdown of when we're going to see it next time, it's going to be a 2-week cycle. And I am also mentally preparing myself saying that I'm going to get this God of War outfit when the time comes. I'll probably go and say, you know what, it's not going to give me any buffs and probably go otherwise, but I'm really trying to hype myself up for this. But back to the Veyron here. This is going to be our second immortal mount, and this one comes with some pretty whopping stats on it. The big one being that global attack plus 15%. It's a pretty nice number to see. It will also come with 10 speed and 75 ignore suppression. Those stats will stick in there regardless of if you're using this mount skill or not. But regardless if you're using it, it's something that you still probably want to show it off like I did. This thing looks pretty cool for having it as a display mount on it, so that's the route I decided to go. So if you do decide to use this as your main skill going into the battle, the second the battle starts, you're going to see that little car icon underneath there, and you're going to have a 15% final damage reduction. Now that final damage reduction, that's going to be whatever the enemy is hitting you for. That final damage reduction that they're doing is going to be reduced by 15%. And from my perception on this, these calculations are crazy. There's a ton of different ones out there, but there's a lot of numbers that go into it. But just know that the final damage reduction, in my perception, seems to be that last final multiplier that gets added. So that's kind of a nice reduction to see in game. At the same time, you will be getting a 15% shield bonus. So if you are using something like the skeleton spellblade like I am, you'll be seeing just a little bit extra of a little niche in there. If you decide from this point on, every single piece of radar is going to go into getting stars on this, well, at 5 stars, that final damage reduction is going to get increased to 25% along with that shield bonus. Now for the awakened skill on this, if you do decide to slot this, keep in mind that this is the mounts. This isn't going to be one that's cycling through every 3 turns. This is going to be, if you have it slotted first, you'll see it right away, or when your other mounts die and this one pops up, that's when those skills will start to work. But when this thing does pop out, it'll be hitting with skill damage for 300%. That'll happen every 4 turns if you keep this thing alive, and you'll also be getting a final skill damage reduction of 9%. But every single turn, it's going to reduce by 3, so that's going to go down to 6 to 3 to nothing. As you level it up, eventually that skill damage will go from 400% to 450%. You'll eventually get a shield for 10%. It later increases to 20%. And that whole 9% reduction there is going to increase to 18% and 27%. But that whole dropping of the percentage of it will also keep on increasing too. So no matter what, by the time you hit round 3, it's going to drop down to 0 after that. Oh, and of course there'll be a little indicator underneath you there, but there's no like multiplier on there to let you know how many rounds you have left. So I think this thing's pretty cool. I think as you get more star levels on this, it can be helpful, although there is a lot of good stuff inside that radar shop there, so it's gonna be tough if I wanna go and try to get this thing upgraded. But really when it comes down to it, I really need to work on my speed inside the game, so this might actually be something I am gonna chase and totally bypass that outfit. But we did just get ourselves a hotfix update, and one of the things that came with it is we now have our Nashir Scepter is considered having a rage skill. So if you want to know all about that, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.